Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. Today, we're basically assembling the ultimate decoder ring for mastering your medical billing and coding exams, whether you're tackling the CPC or the CCS. If you want to know exactly what topics you need to prioritize to not just pass your exam but to truly thrive in your career, well, you're in the right place. We're going to lock right in on the core topics that form the absolute bedrock of this profession.
So where on the body is the metacarpal located? Or what does medical necessity actually mean? These aren't just random trivia questions to memorize. These are the exact types of scenarios you're going to face on your certification exam. To answer them quickly and confidently, you need a really structured understanding of how the human body works and how the industry communicates. And that is exactly the mindset we're getting into right now.
Okay, let's dive right into this and map out our roadmap. We're building our knowledge block by block. 1. Why anatomy secures certification. 2. Cracking medical terminology. 3. Exploring core body systems. And 4. Navigating payer rules.
Section 1. Why anatomy secures certification, the foundation for coding success. Let's look at why anatomy is the absolute bedrock of everything a medical coder actually does. Here's the harsh reality of this job. Without a rock-solid foundation in human anatomy and physiology, medical terminology is literally just a giant jumble of unrelated terms. Sure, you might be able to memorize a few keywords to guess a diagnostic code, but to truly understand an operating report, to accurately abstract all the procedures that need to be billed, you're going to hit a wall, for sure. You absolutely have to know the anatomy to know what the doctor actually did. So, to prevent hitting that wall, you've got to follow this structured path. First up, master gross anatomy and physiology. Second, connect those organ systems to the disease process. An illness is never just an isolated event, right? It always affects a specific bodily system. And finally, step 3, abstract the accurate diagnostic and procedural pros. This whole process is exactly how you prove medical necessity, meaning the treatment met the highest quality of care and was absolutely required to solve the patient's problem. Let's move to Section 2, cracking medical terminology, decoding the language of medicine. We're going to see how this builds into the mechanics of medical language itself. It helps to think of medical coding like learning a completely new language. This language relies heavily on Greek and Latin word pieces to describe different ailments, injuries, and treatments. And here's the secret. When you treat this like a language with specific, predictable rules, interpreting complex medical records suddenly becomes much more like solving a puzzle rather than just staring at an intimidating wall of text. And here is exactly how you decode that puzzle. You just break it down into prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes generally tell you the body location, so something like nephro for kidney, or helping you distinguish between tarsal in the foot and carpal in the wrist. Then you have your suffixes, which describe the surgical actions taken, things like ostomy, otomy, or ectomy. By combining a location root with an action suffix, the word tells you exactly what procedure was done to the patient. It's brilliant. Section 3. Exploring core body systems, navigating the human map. Now that we've got the language down, it's time for our body system blitz. This is a rapid tour of the major systems tested on exams like the CPC and CCS. First up, the circulatory system, which delivers nutrients and gases to every cell in the body. Now, what's really interesting here is that this system actually encompasses two distinct components. You have the cardiovascular system, so the heart, blood, and arteries, but you also have the lymphatic system. That includes the spleen, the thymus gland, and your lymph nodes. Moving downward, we hit the digestive system. Its main gig is transforming food into forms the body can actually metabolize. The core organs are the mouth, stomach, small and large intestines, and the rectum. But don't forget the vital accessory organs. Your liver, pancreas, and even your teeth and tongue play absolutely crucial roles here. Beyond digestion, we have the endocrine system. This one is all about regulating development and maintaining homeostasis, which is really just a fancy technical term for keeping the body's status quo. It does this through a powerful network of glands. The key players you're going to need to know are the pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, and the ovaries or testes. Moving right along, let's look at the integumentary system. Think of this as the body's built-in protective shield. It actively prevents dehydration, shields your internal organs from injury, and stores fat. It includes your skin, hair, nails, and sweat glands.
Beneath that shield is the musculoskeletal system, which gives the body its shape, protects it, and obviously enables movement. It's a combination of the skeletal system, your bones, joints, cartilage, and ligaments, and the muscular system, And keep in mind, the muscular side has 3 distinct types: cardiac muscle in the heart, smooth or involuntary muscles that run our internal organs, and skeletal or voluntary muscles that let us actively move around.
To control all of that complex movement, we rely on the nervous system. This is the body's ultimate command and messaging center. The brain, spinal cord, and a massive network of nerves all work together to monitor everything, from your internal body temperature all the way to the external sights and sounds around you.
The reproductive system is, of course, what enables organisms to have children. For your exams, you need to be very familiar with the distinct components for both males, like the testes, penis, prostate, and vas deferens, and females, including the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, and vagina. Let's take a breath and look at the respiratory system. Its primary function is exchanging gases to deliver life-sustaining oxygen to every single cell. The anatomical pathway you need to track goes from the nasal cavity, down the trachea, through the bronchi, and deep into the lungs. Capping off our anatomical tour is the urinary and excretory system. This system is crucial for eliminating waste and regulating the body's water balance. You've got the core organs, the kidneys and urinary bladder, and the passageways, specifically the ureters heading down to the bladder and the urethra heading out of the body. Looking back on this blitz, it's pretty amazing how beautifully interconnected all these biological systems truly are.
Section 4. Navigating Payer Rules. The rules of the game for claims. Now let's transition to our final building block. Because here is the harsh reality. Perfect anatomical knowledge and flawless terminology mean absolutely nothing if your claim gets rejected due to a broken payer rule. You simply have to know the rules of the game.
As a coder, you're navigating an incredibly complex and fast-paced insurance maze. You're dealing with commercial payers, which include structures like PPOs, HMOs, POS, and EPO plans. But then you also have the massive government payers. You need to know Medicare inside and out, Parts A, B, C, and D. You have to navigate state-managed Medicaid and deal with specialized programs like TRICARE for the Department of Defense, as well as the VA. Every single one of them has its own quirks and idiosyncrasies.
So the crucial takeaway here is this. Knowing the exact mechanics of compliance is what keeps the revenue cycle flowing and keeps your practice out of hot water. You've got to verify clear documentation. You have to recognize what counts as a minor, incidental procedure versus what can actually be billed separately. You absolutely must avoid the illegal unbundling of codes. And you must know precisely when and how to apply modifiers to survive intense scrutiny, like rack audits. Mastering these rules, that's what separates a novice from a true coding professional.
So, as you prep for your exams and step into your future career, remember this: you aren't just memorizing terms. You are learning to translate the human body into a language that the healthcare system understands. If you misinterpret the anatomy, you misapply the code, and the whole system breaks down. Are you ready to master the language that keeps healthcare moving? Please like, share, and subscribe to Decode Healthcare with Harshal.